Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast, another episode, or whatever you want to call it, of Sugar, Spices, and Spirits. I am Kelly Williams. I'm here with my two co-hosts,
Cindy Price,
Natalie Pilkington.
and just to let you know where we are in Alvin on Highway 35. We're at Bing Pizzeria and Draft House, and this place is amazing. So many fun things to do. Great food, great drinks. They have beach volleyball, or we decided sand volleyball. They have darts, they have pool, they have shuffleboard. Like I said, fabulous food. They've been so wonderful, so accommodating to us today. We've just really enjoyed our time here. So before we get started, and let you know what our main dish is, we're going to get started with our sip of the day, which is a spicy pineapple margarita. It's one of their specialty drinks. It's really amazing.
well, she knows we haven't tried ours yet.
Premature drink.
I'm a premature drinker. I'm sorry.
No, she's not.
But not really. But once we introduce the main dish, you'll understand why we chose this particular spicy drink. So you guys go ahead and try it. See what you think. It's got a little jalapeno slice in there. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Uh-oh. Already fell. Isn't that good?
It's really good.
Super, super, super good.
I
really,
typically have a hard time with
really
spice
good.
and drinks. I like my food spicy. My drinks are a little different. I'll let you know by the end.
Okay.
I'm the one that always has the crushed up jalapenos and everything in my
She's
drink.
always,
so.
she always does the spicy, and I don't, but this is actually pretty good. The sweetness and the spicy really complement each other.
I also put pineapple and Canadian bacon on my pizza with jalapeno, and some people
I
think
can do
that's
that.
crazy.
That
My
is
husband thinks it's
crazy.
terrible. Why would you put pineapple on your pizza? So good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I definitely have to be in the mood for that kind of pizza. The rest of the time, I like the supreme, just all out everything, and then load it up with jalapenos, but more the pickled jalapenos. I'm not a real big fresh jalapeno. That's usually too hot for me. So, but anyway, we digress. So, so one thing that we kind of added to our podcast is just kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what we do outside of our podcast. And so Natalie added the appetizer. So what would you just kind of tell you what we do on our off time? So what have you been up to lately, Natalie?
Oh, fantastic. I love going first.
Yeah.
So it's been birthday month for us. We have like 25 birthdays this month. No,
Wow.
not 25, just 5. So
Oh,
no
well.
exaggeration. So we're having fun celebrating, my family, my boys, my boyfriend, and just enjoying life and spending family.
Nice.
A lot of family time, a lot of going out to dinner, reflecting. I was very intentional and purposeful on my videos for my boys this year, just in leaving a voice memo and a collage of
Nice.
pictures. So just enjoying family.
Nice. Good. What about you?
Same on this one. I'll do a family update. My oldest son is getting married, and I was lucky to get to go with my future, very beautiful, amazing, wonderful daughter-in-law to see her try on different dresses. And I actually got to see the
Nice.
one where she said yes to the dress. She could wear anything,
Oh, she's
And look
y'all. She's beautiful.
absolutely
Ella is
amazing.
beautiful.
and inside and out.
Yes, I did
Super
get the
smart.
text this weekend asking for our address. I was like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know. I should have said, what's this for? But I knew.
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't get a text.
He already knows your address. I moved so many times that he never knows where to find me. So that's what it was.
So that was really neat. So being a
Awesome.
being part of that, and being a boy mom, it's different. Like all the things that I don't think about. I don't know, y'all. I am, you think about insecurities, and there's different things where like all day long, I've got it. But then there's things I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a boy mom. I don't think about these things, and
Yeah.
wanting to be intentional and to be there for her and just support in every way that I
Yeah,
can.
that's
And
special.
so-
It is special because it's important that your future daughter-in-law has a connection with you.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, my stepson just got married last year, and I adore
Yeah.
his wife. I mean, she's Masha's
great.
Masha's a hot mess. But yeah, she's great. She's great. So, and I guess I'll follow along the same lines. So when I've recently got remarried, and this is the first year that his mom is actually going to join us for Thanksgiving. So she gets to meet my mom and my dad, but because my late husband passed away, we have our kids, and it's a long story, but anyway, I still have a very good relationship with my former mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and so we all still do holidays together. So I knew my husband was amazing. When the very first time we were together, I said, by the way, the holidays are spent with Lance's family. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. My mother-in-law was like, oh, we like him. I'm like, okay, thank goodness. So this year his mom gets to come in and meet the crew. So it's going to be kind of cool. So we're trying to make it, do our shopping and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been very family oriented this year. And
But we still get our shopping day.
yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. That's for Christmas.
Maybe we'll let her tag along.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to because I have surgery. Anyway, so, okay. So let's get started. Like I said, we're at a fun place. We've already done 2 other podcasts today. And so we kind of saved the last one. We always say get the more serious topics out of the way. And we save the more fun, loose, I like to call them snarky. It's my favorite word, topics for the end of the day. And I think what we're going to touch on today, guys, is when your personal life kind of interferes or gets entangled in your professional life. And for anyone that's from Houston, we're south of Houston, and Natalie's from north of Houston, but
North side.
So with the south side, but recently, if you've been keeping up with the times, there's been a little bit of shakeup in the music media world, radio. The Rula and Ryan show. Anyone that's been around for years has always. I used to tune into them all the time. Now I'm sorry, I'm a Sirius XM girl, but Ryan was recently gone.
Disappeared from
disappeared. And there's been a lot of stuff really floating around out there. There was some stuff that was on Instagram. It was there. It was gone. A lot of innuendos about what happened. Things are at the Chronicle, and then you don't see it. And Reddit's got a lot of information. So we pulled like 16 pages of stuff here. But it's just not just about his particular story. It's just about when your personal life just comes in like a wrecking ball and just can potentially destroy something that you've worked for years. Ryan Chase was part of 104 KRBE for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had a lot of ups and downs, as we all have. We're certainly not here to point fingers about his personal life, because we've all, had our, we're not going to throw the first stone and anything like that. But it's just some of the ramifications and some of the things that come about when your personal life gets put out there on the Sonic sign for everyone to see it. It's really sad. So I did actually a little bit more research today, because when I first looked this stuff up, my first take was, and again, we're going on maybe some unsubstantiated information. So if we get anything wrong, please don't bash us.
Yeah, we're not privy to any information. This is us being spectators from the outside, coming in and looking in and giving our perspective.
Exactly. We're all as knowledgeable as what we can read out there. Sometimes it's Google, sometimes it's Reddit, sometimes it's hearsay.
Growing up in Houston, having them as a staple on the FM radio dial, it was important. And watching Rilla and Ryan grow in their career. And
the official statement is we're not talking about this, basically.
Yeah, right.
And so everything else is hearsay. Nothing.
But we at Sugar, Spice, and Spirits are here to talk about what we think and how we feel.
Yeah. And again, not necessarily about Ryan per se, but just the whole persona of what takes place when your personal life, especially if you're in the spotlight, gets stuck out there for everyone to see. So, so essentially, like I said, I did a little bit more research, and my big concern was, if indeed he got let go, he got fired, if anyone gets fired because of something that happened a while back, what it comes down to is that corporate America, in my opinion, it's not about fairness. It's about saving your brand. And I mean, and I get that. When you think about, look what happened to, the Coldplay guy, the CEO.
The HR and the CEO.
Yeah, HR. Yeah, HER. Hello, that's HB. That was devastating. The CEO, the HR manager.
Yeah, imagine being the wife.
Yeah.
Or the husband.
Devastating. I mean, it destroyed so many people. Look at Tiger Woods. He lost some major sponsors because of his, so-called alleged shenanigans. Papa John's owner, he had some racial slurs. There's so many instances out there where people say and do things in their personal lives, and all of a sudden it hits the media, and they're done. They're axed. So, I guess part of what we're talking about today is the fairness. Is it fair that corporate America just decides our brand is more important than, saving face is more important than your personal life? I mean, especially after someone's been with you for 20 something years. Um, Again, I think there are some people out there that want to say, let me have the opportunity to talk. Let me give you my side of the story. And again, where that comes down, when I originally was kind of researching this, I thought, well, this person that put all of his personal information out there, she hacked his information allegedly.
She was arrested for
Yes,
domestic violence
yes, she has a long rap sheet. She's done this
with
for
other people
for many
as
years,
well.
other years, and so maybe he wasn't the best, picker and chooser when it comes to girlfriends, but he's gone. I mean, and her legal situation is her own thing, and she's going to pay those consequences. But what happens to those that just don't really? They get mad and they just blast it out there. They put your dirty laundry out there, and there's you whether you regret it or not, you change people's lives tremendously. But that person that you're blasting out there, whether they're like I said, the celebrity, sometimes it's financially devastating, it's emotionally devastating for you, your family, your kids. And sometimes that whistleblower person just kind of like, oh well, because there's not a whole lot of legal ramifications unless it's like true, defamation and that kind of stuff. But I'm just kind of curious about what your thoughts are when your public life is put out there on, the front stage by someone else.
So I think it's really hard. I will not comment towards whatever's going on with Ryan because there is nothing that we know.
Right.
Everything is hearsay. It's what people are putting out there, and everybody here can say whatever they want. But what I can drop back to, and you think about a company and a brand, and they are focusing on, well, this is what we stand for. I will bring it back to something that I actually mentioned a few episodes ago about somebody in an industry that was an incredible marketer. She was what some would call fire. Not to be fired, she was fired. She was amazing. But on her personal social media feed, she had a lot of things that were very controversial that were 100% her opinion, but they were very um, one sided. And that's okay because you should be able to have your thoughts and opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular company who was about to hire her for a very lucrative and big role, they saw that and they're like, that doesn't align with who we are.
Yeah.
And it's okay for you to feel that way, but for you to put it out for everybody to see it and to comment it on it, think what you will. I just know this company said, we're not moving forward with this person. And so those things do hurt you no matter where you're at. There could be one company that doesn't care. There could be a company that aligns fully and they're like, we're okay with this. But this particular company was okay with both sides. It was just how strong these thoughts and opinions were on social media. And they're like, we can't bring that in their view that was
Mm-hmm.
toxic to come into their organization. And so they chose to move on. So when I think of it like that, it is hard because you want to have your personal life and you
Mm-hmm.
want to have your thoughts. And Natalie, I don't know if it was you that said it or Kelly, if it was you. It's like you have the right to have your thoughts and opinions, but whatever's going to come back at you is going to come back at you.
Sure.
And
Sure.
society today, unfortunately, is very unforgiving. We seem to live in this cancel culture and this gotcha. I want to get you if I disagree with you,
Mm-hmm.
right or wrong. Um, in certain roles, in certain organizations, there are things that you should think about.
Sure. And there's, like we said, nothing has definitely been verified. There's been a lot of things put out there on social media. Who knows if some of those were fake Instagram tech? Well, we don't know. So nothing's been verified, but it at the end of the day, whatever was perceived or assumed, it had a very negative outlook and negative outcome for Ryan. So, okay, your hands up. Go ahead.
I have a very strong opinion on this. Imagine.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
So the Coldplay concert, the CEO and HR, that's a complete different thing. It was a work event, company event. It was an integrity, trust, that whole shebang. But when we're talking about domestic violence,
Was it a work event?
yeah, it was there was a lot of other work people there. I don't know who paid for it, so I don't have
Well,
all
they were
the
in a big
details.
suite or something, weren't
Yeah,
they?
they
It was
were in
a
a
lot of
big
coworkers.
suite, a
Yeah.
lot of coworkers. It's out in the open for everybody. You're not in a private hotel room doing your shenanigans behind
Right.
closed doors. Not that I would condone that either. But when you're in a domestic violence situation, which is where I think there's a huge difference, and with the arrest and with the case record, and I don't have all the details, none of us do. So do your own research,
Mhm.
figure it out on your own. But if it was, if the roles were reversed and a male had done this to a female, what would we be saying? And I'm saying text messages from years ago released that were intimate, vulgar, something I wouldn't want anyone to see, that is private between two individuals, consenting adults.
Mhm.
She hacked into his account, which should be illegal to hack into people's accounts,
Yeah.
and posted these posts after a domestic violence issue. I have huge concerns with a company or an organization. And granted, they're a public figure. Like, in the public figure, you do have a realm of responsibility to keep the brand, to keep that. But in that situation, I know companies are worried about their integrity. However, there's a domestic violence situation. Obviously, laws were broken, and they totally washed away 20 years of a loyal career of
Yeah.
somebody after they had just apparently supposedly renewed a 5-year contract.
Right.
I have an issue with companies that don't have a spine or a backbone for their employees, that have been loyal to them, that have done what they should.
Mhm.
And granted, like, don't say things you don't want the world to know. Don't put things in text you don't want the world to know. You never know who's recording. You never know when there's a listening device. As a realtor, when
Right.
I go show homes, Alexas are all around, Googles are all around, and they're not supposed to, but Ring cameras, everything is a recording device. So do not say anything that could be
Mhm.
disparaging or hurtful that you wouldn't be able to say to somebody's face. Mean what you say and say what you mean. That kind of goes along with that integrity. However, I truly feel that we are lacking as a society when immediately people are dropped and there's no loyalty. This is why you have SOPs in place as a
Mhm.
company or an organization as well. He didn't go and post these. It wasn't like he was drunk at night and posted these.
Right.
He was sabotaged. And I think when people are sabotaged, I think that there has to be some grace, and maybe it's a leave of absence, maybe it's some counseling, because things that were said might have crossed a line. But that was a private conversation between two people that was leaked.
And it was
And
immediately taken down, even though it still hit airways. The thing is, me included, is that I would have had no idea that ever even hit the airwaves or hit social media until he was let go.
yeah,
And then it became this big, huge thing. And just like you said, I would hope that the company would say, okay, tell us what happened. And then when you look at, I'm sorry, my opinion, the dingbat who did this to him, she's in court right now. They revoked her bail. She's in court because she has already assaulted another person. She has a long list of things. And I mean,
alleged.
it's, yeah, alleged. Well, no, she's being charged.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've got the
Right.
stats, but I mean, it's just, so maybe his choices were bad. And there's actually, she recorded, I guess the phone was in her pocket. It was dark. She recorded their conversation. It's off of Reddit, sorry. But she recorded their conversation of him telling her to leave and get out. And she, she's putting that up there, and he's basically just pleading his case. But it's the same thing. I mean, you've got 20 years. He's got a lot of loyal followers. And so it kind of makes me wonder, yes, it may not, maybe we've all been guilty of sending texts that we're not proud of, whether you were calling someone out or being ugly or whatever. And you're like, gosh, sure wish I wouldn't have sent send, because now like we can unsend this.
Yeah.
But the thing is that at this point in time, you have to wonder how many people are like true loyal Ryan Chase followers. I'm like, I have nothing for 104 KRB anymore. If you're going to let this guy go. And the thing is, he was recently diagnosed with cancer. He recently lost his dog. And then Dingbat goes up there and does that.
broke off the engagement,
Broke off the.
assaulted him, then did this, and
Let's
then they're
just kick him
piling
when. Let's
on.
just kick him when he's down.
I
We're
just
we're outside.
I think that we only see what is out there.
Sure.
We
Sure.
don't know. There could be underlying things. For what's out there, it does seem very much the way that you were feeling and the way that you're feeling. And I have to say, I totally agree if all these things are what it was, but just it's the not knowing what's actually behind it. And that's what's super hard for me to take like a hard stance, because if I don't have facts to understand and be able to go, these are the things. If this did happen or something happened, there could be ways of a leave of absence and different things that
Right.
happen. We don't know.
In fact, she was arrested. In fact, if the role was reversed, if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was a female and a male assaulted a female, it'd be a whole different conversation and a whole different ballgame. Like, that's in my opinion. We do know she was arrested. We
Mhm.
do know she has a history. We do know that there's some credence to what's been said, and it was deleted immediately.
Mhm.
Like, he's not going to go and post that and looking for sympathy or anything and jeopardize his whole career where he just did a 5-year contract.
Right. She was previously, and again, this was on Reddit. So, she was previously charged with harassing communication in June of 2023. It was not involving Ryan. So she was actually going to court. She went to court on November 18th. She has a history of assault in 06. She actually pepper sprayed a woman. She had a DWI offense in 09 and destruction of personal property in 05. So again, and these are actual charges. Her bond was revoked. He then also charged her with assault. So the problem is that all of his mess got put out there. And these were messages that she found from a former partner, and she put them out there, and out of her being upset and mad and everything. And her issues with the law are not even resulting from him, but she can deal with all that on her own. But his career, his reputation, everything has just been completely destroyed by this woman who was angry or mad, for whatever reason, whatever the reason is. But I just don't think it's fair. And you're right. We probably do not have all the information. I know we don't. But I just feel like someone who has established such a great following for so many years, I feel like he deserved a little bit more of an opportunity to have the corporate company behind him and say, hey, you know what? Look at her track record. We're not saying what he did was right. We're not saying, that was not information. Yeah, if you think for some reason, if someone's going to sit there and say he wants to blank you and we could blank this and blank that, okay, yeah, maybe that's in poor taste. But that was between those two people. And she put it out there, and there's nothing he can do. I looked up all the legalities. If it's false, they can do some defamation. But if it's true and the texts are out there, then it's just her, it's her right to do that. It's only
To hack somebody's account?
No. Well,
I don't know what the legality is.
No, I
don't
know
what the legality is.
You're right. You're right. It's how, if he left his phone wide open and she opened up his phone, yeah. But it's
still,
I mean, I know, because it's your own personal property, but it's just, and it doesn't come down to whether what he did was right or what is wrong. I think my question is, was it really fair for the radio to just say, yeah, we're done with you? Yeah. I mean, I think he deserved at least some sort of rebuttal. That's just my opinion.
well, and he can't say anything because he's got an NDA. So the thing that I think of too, being when I ran for school board, there was a sex trafficking case where a whistleblower came forward and said, hey, there's this sex trafficking. And her daughter was actually involved, and it's under legal. So I know the district can't say anything, but the school district did not put the teacher on paid leave following their own protocol to do an investigation. However, they supposedly alerted the county sheriff's office. The county sheriff's office can neither confirm nor deny that. They said that they didn't receive anything, but this is all, like, nothing is in writing. However, this teacher that had the whistle blown on her as being a sex trafficker was left in the cosmetic classroom as a cosmetic teacher to sex traffic kids for over a year because the district didn't even follow their own protocol. So you have the yin and the yang, like the both sides of it.
Mhm.
I do feel, and Ryan's, and I don't know Ryan personally, but I feel like corporations lose an opportunity to build a brand and build loyalty when they are so knee jerk quick to react in a situation,
Yeah.
versus giving it time to wash out and see not necessarily what the public opinion is, but what the facts are and what they
Right.
can find out. I think that there's a missed opportunity.
Well, and I think partly what we're also not privy to is what some of the contract clauses were. A lot of contracts have moral clauses. A lot of contracts have conduct clauses. A lot of them have reputation clauses. And it is basically you come in there and you go against our moral, and that may be, very specific. It very well could be, he had some issues many years ago, and we don't know what was in this recent 5-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
If it had a very specific, if you do this, if you do that, and not just him, but anyone, if there's a moral dilemma or something that comes up and you go against it, there are players in the NFL that are fined thousands of dollars because they're not following the conduct set forth by the NFL. We all have that. There is all an expectation everywhere. There's an expectation to represent your brand with the utmost integrity, with the utmost respect. We just did a podcast on integrity. But when you're out there and you're representing your brand and you've got their shirt and their logo and if you're out there and you're drunk and you're falling over and you're, fondling these women and you're married and you've got that KRBE or that LMNOP shirt on.
LMNOP, what's that?
Just made up. Then that's one thing. But if you're having a private conversation with someone and, let's say Megan, the girl, let's say she didn't have this long rap sheet. Let's say she was just a mad woman because my boyfriend broke up with me, or I found out he was talking to an ex and they were reminiscing and they were talking about, oh my gosh, you remember when we did this and that? I would be a little bit mad. Of course you'd be mad. You'd be hurt. But at the end of the day, if she got his stuff and she put it out there and said, this is why I'm trying to save face. He broke up with me. This is that. He lost his job, everything. There's nothing anyone could do to her. And I just don't see the fairness. And again, like I said, unless there's some specifics in the contract about morality clauses and everything, where they can say, hey, sorry, we don't have any choice.
I'm sure they have that, but
Sure.
Also, and I still go back to the role reversal. If you're abused, by an abuser, and we know abusive, manipulative, narcissistic relationships, it's always about them, right? And so when you have somebody like that, they will win at all cost, and they don't care who they bring down in the process. And I think that people need to take that into account. I mean, you are free to say what you want to say. Like, this is America. You have the freedom. But you're not free from the consequences of your actions. So even like self-employed people, you see it when they celebrated, like a certain person's death or certain things happen, and they make comments that are hate-filled and just, they have repercussions. You can be self-employed, but that does not mean that you'll continue to be self-employed. That doesn't mean that you'll get the business. And who knows, sometimes because you stick up and you stand up for somebody or something happens, you may get even more business because of you sticking up and standing up.
Chris, what was Harrison? He was the host of the Bachelor. No, the Bachelor. There was an episode where one of the women had an opinion about something, and I should have researched it, but I didn't have time. She had an opinion about something, and all he did was go in and support her freedom of her opinion, and then let him go. He wasn't saying she was right or she was wrong. He was basically supporting the fact that she has a right to her opinion. He was gone. And Amy, TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, they were both with Good Morning America. I love them. And they did a lot of stories together. Behind the scenes, they had separated from their spouses, and they began a relationship. Whether it happened before they separated, who knows? But they were still technically married. When the pictures leaked out, Good Morning America did, their research, and they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And, and they still stand beside their relationship. They're still together. And it just, I don't know. I mean, I do honestly see both sides of the coin. I had to let someone go not too long ago, and she is seeing the reason she was let go in a totally different light. Mine was more of a HIPAA thing. You walk out of this office and you start talking about anyone that we serve in this office, that is a HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
And I had all of that written down, but yet she didn't see it that way. So anyway, but it's just everyone has their own personal crap. And, maybe in our lives, because we're not popular and celebrities yet, we we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about whether or not we do or we say something wrong or inappropriate, just out of miscommunication or being taken out of context, that it completely tears apart
It can
our
happen anywhere though. Like
anywhere.
that Christian teacher that was disciplining her kid, that I don't know if you guys saw it. She flat out abused, and her older child was in the background recording and released it because she beat the kid like with a belt 20 times over a
Oh
couch,
gosh.
picked him up by the hair. Like it was atrocious, and she lost her job, and she lost um and that's according to the video, as long as it's not altered, like that's alleged, right? But what happens behind closed doors, we really never know.
Yeah.
And we never see. And even though we're not like important people per se, there's still stuff that comes to light that we wouldn't necessarily want. When I ran for school board, I can tell you, I know my ex recorded me on a rage a time or two, and he could have posted that. Like, and I didn't know if he would, because that's the kind of stuff he would do. And it is a certain kind of person that'll take personal conversations and those personal texts and post them out for other people to see and to have a comment on, which I think private conversation, I think that's to your character. If you will post that, if nobody's being abused, everything's consensual, like why would you post and share that? Um, so you don't have to be famous. You could just have goals or be after something and piss the wrong person off in the narcissistic way. They feel justified in doing it and making your life miserable, or making you feel pain because they feel pain.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Well, and I think there's always your side, their side, and
In the middle of the road.
middle of the road,
Yeah,
and what
sure.
there is. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree by
Mhm.
any stretch of the imagination. A number of the things I 100% agree on. It's just when you don't have all the facts, and because social media distorts so much, and it makes it hard to really understand what is the truth, what is the facts. And you have knee jerk reactions, and you have people out there making comments and stuff that looks like it's real. It makes it hard. You don't know what's
now with
happening.
AI,
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
You don't know
yeah.
what's happening in that boardroom. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know if this is the 10th time that person has been
Has
written up.
right.
We talked about in leadership, if you have a toxic employee, if you continue to let that go, then you're creating a toxic work environment. Again, all the points that you bring up, just in a general sense, when you don't have all of the facts in order and you only see what's being said, it's easy to make that judgment.
but
And the
you never
judgment
have
that
all
you're
the
saying,
facts.
you never have all the facts to a point. But if you are sitting there as a leader, as a brand, as an organization, and you look at what is in front of you, and you're looking at all the things and the history, and then it's like, okay, what are we going to do as an organization? Not a knee jerk reaction, not a
Right.
boom. And you're actually looking at it and say, to move forward for all people involved, this is where we're going to go. I think it's important to think about those things.
That's
Well,
where
I think-
paid leave comes in. Like paid leave gives you leeway. Like
Right.
go take a vacation, take some time off. We'll give you paid leave for 2 weeks. We'll
Right.
see how things are on the other side. But like you said, because we all know we've worked with dogs before,
Yeah.
and they have fleas and they carry diseases, and they are dogs through and through. But because of their sales record or because of whatever, the company kept them around. And then this comes along, and that's just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're by no means insinuating that. It's
No,
just you
no.
No, we don't know.
don't know.
Well,
Right.
and like we said, when you step back and you look at everything, the whole situation is that we don't know how much was actually put in front of KRBE corporate. We don't know what they've seen. We don't know if his file of misconduct is this thick or that was. We don't know, and that's the unfortunate part. But the fact that it's just the sad thing is that the public is only privy to what corporate wants us to be privy to. And I think that's really sad because it's just one of those things where a lot of us are saying it's not fair. He's a good person. He was loyal to you guys for so long. We just think you gave him a raw deal. And and again, I feel like for corporate America to say, hey, you know what? Out of respect for him, we're not going to tell you what all we have, but there's justification behind our decision.
That's HR too. That's
right.
But that's also radio. That's the nature of the business. Like radio does that as well. We've seen it on, the country station where one of the big guys was replaced and all of a sudden this new guy came in and it was a completely different flavor.
Yeah.
And like, why is it going on and what's happening? We don't, and do we deserve to know? I mean, as a follower of somebody who's kind of a public personality, I think the public's owed some sort of explanation because they are a consumer of the product. And I think that's staying true with authenticity. Like if something were to happen to one of us, like I hope that we would cover it in a way that left us looking well and that person looking well, whatever that situation may have been. But I don't know where I'm going with that. I just think that there's more that could have been said and more that could have been done, just from my personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, I think a lot of public opinion is that it's not about corporate morals. It's about saving face. It's about brand protection. It's about reputation protection.
Advertiser dollars.
It's about, I mean, it's pure, it's optics. It's what you see, is what you see. And what we, I'm sorry, but when, Jimmy Swaggart got up there and he said in front of the entire congregation, I have sinned, he kept right on preaching, and his people that believed in him and loved him and followed him just said, he's human. He made a mistake, and he just kept right on going.
90% of our audience has no clue who Jimmy Swaggart is.
Sorry, I'm old. He's a preacher.
He was a preacher.
He's a preacher. Cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just look it up. But
one of those ornate preachers.
But let's think about this for a minute. And it is terrible in the context of what you're talking about, all the things we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But in a month from now, who's going to be paying attention to this? And people are going to move on. And that's what's so sad when you think about how much time you give to an organization and you are so focused and you were, 100% committed. And then if a change is made or layoffs are made, and of course, this is a whole mess of stuff that we're, talking about, but being right with who you are and knowing that it's hard to sum this up. It's hard to say what I'm trying to say because of all the things. And I'm being very neutral, and because I don't know, I don't like to give an opinion on something that I don't fully understand. I know. But
that's what she has us for.
Yep.
But I will say, so 20 years of service, 30 years of service, all of a sudden you're gone. Like that loyalty that's there. And whether it's for this or anything else, that is really hard. They say they're never going to look at your tombstone and say, look at all the hours that they put in. You're going to be remembered by the memories that you made and the time with your family and your friends. And so just really being good with where you are and, what you're doing, I think is important to think about also, because you will be forgotten. This will be it'll be talked about a little bit, but a month from now, remember how big we mentioned it, the whole Coldplay thing. Yeah, it was so big and everybody was talking about it. And we'll talk about it and people are like, oh, okay. But everybody's moved on.
Plug in passive streams of income so you can buy your life back from corporate America. So when something happens, you can just be like, okay, sayonara.
I got this. I got a second. No. I got a second income. So, but I mean, it does. I mean, corporate America, they go into panic mode, and let's face it, if this had never hit the internet, would we really care? No. I mean,
if he would have never left the station, we never would have known, like you said.
Exactly. If it wouldn't have hit the internet and we wouldn't have known, and he left their state, we wouldn't have. Even if it hit there, and the radio station said, okay, you know what? you better watch your P's and Q's. And if anything else comes out again, you're gone. There would have been just a small handful, and it would have been tabloid for a little bit, and then it would have gone. But the fact that he was pushed out. Now, the whole Tiger Woods thing, he's known all over the globe. Not that Ryan's not popular, but he was known out there in Houston and a few other places. But I mean, it's just kind of one of those things
But 15 years ago, you grow a lot in 15 years. I am not the same person I was 15 years ago.
Same person I was
So
15
you can
minutes
go through,
ago.
I even know when I ran for school board, they were going through one of the counterparts' Facebook page and pulling up stuff he said 15 years ago and holding that against him. I think not that there's a time limit on things that are illegal or certain, but people grow and mature through life. And I think that it's unfair to pull that stuff up and hold a candle to that, or, hold a
Different
standard.
America, they don't necessarily always do loyalty. I think they just live in the life of damage control.
And I think they lose an opportunity, though.
Yeah, they lose an opportunity to stand by the people who got them where they are.
We appreciate your concern. We investigated and we stand by. Not that we agree with the text, like you said, not that like you said we're not necessarily agreeing, but we stand by our long-term employee, and we are sorry he's going through this. He's on a paid leave. He'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, he's got some personal issues to deal with. We're wanting to give him the most fair outcome. But and again, I'm an XM person, so I don't listen to the radio that much. I listen to podcasts. But from what I've heard, from what a lot of other listeners have said, is that his radio co-hosts were not very nice about what had happened. That it was a very hostile environment. And and that bothers me too, because it seems like to me, like if I ever do something stupid, I mean, y'all may say, you know what, you're the dumbest person in the whole wide world, but you know what, we love you and we're going to get you through this. I mean, and if you ever get on here and start talking ugly about me, but I
think it's hard to say if you haven't been a listener and you haven't heard that yourself. So just because people put it out there,
right,
I think
it's
some
their
people are
it's their perception.
Keyboard warriors,
It's
and
their perception. You're right.
You don't know.
Yeah, but just I guess, and this is all opinion. I mean, obviously we have different opinions, and I respect yours because you're like, I'm not going to formulate an opinion because you don't want to. And again, does it really affect us? No, I could just switch to a different channel. I mean, it doesn't affect us. But from the human side, the human side of things, it does affect me because I just keep thinking, how many times have I overloaded my butt with my mouth? And I'm like, oh wow, I really wish I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And I just hopefully I have matured enough, and have I sent texts that I regret? Of course, we all do things that we regret, and some regret. I'm like, I'm afraid we regret. But it hasn't cost me some of the things that it cost him. And that's why I just feel like after so much loyalty for so long, just again, with the facts that have been put out there, and KRBE may be getting the total raw end of the deal. We don't know. Like I said, his corporate file could be this thick of just terrible things. And KRB, they may just be keeping it quiet because they're like, you know what? We're not going to damage him any more than he's already damaged himself. So on the other side of the fence, you can't judge. It's just the public opinion is such that with what we're given, it just seems unfair. And it just seems, like I said, sometimes corporate America is all about the money, the brand, and not about the human. And I mean, and just, I don't know. I just sometimes don't think I don't think that's right. So the takeaway from all this is, in the generation I grew up, when we, the best satisfaction we had when you got mad with someone, you could like slam that phone down. We weren't keyboard warriors, but, we had to, if we really wanted to tell somebody off, I'd write it down.
Right.
Once I get them on the phone,
I'm going to give it to them.
Don't stop me right now because I'm you really had to, but it also gave you the time to think
and process
and calm down and decompress. And then you're like, and the next day when you realize what you thought was so bad really wasn't that bad. And it may have been completely wrong, but you saved face because you didn't go out there and make an ass out of yourself. So I think that's the sad part, is that people are so quick to react these days that that maturity factor goes right out the window. And I think that's sad, because at this point now, this girl that has this long rap sheet, now her name is out there. I mean, people are going to their wedding page and think she's ruined her own reputation way beyond just her criminal record that she's got. And she shot herself in the foot. And it's just one of those things where if you just step back, calm down. Now she has mental issues. Who knows? But if you just step back and think about the consequences of your words, of your actions, of whatever you do, don't think about right now. Think about tomorrow. Think about your children. Think about your parents. Think about, I know I used to want to go dancing all the time, and my late husband, Lance, we never would go dancing locally because he was the boss of so many people. He liked to go out and have a cocktail and dance. He said, I can't go out and let the people that I have to the next day go out and be a boss of see me cutting loose. And I went, oh, why? But I understood and I respected it. You just have to mind your P's and Q's, and you have to think about who you represent, not just your company, but yourself.
And your family.
And you have to wake up. And like you said earlier in an earlier podcast, if you can lay your head down on your pillow at night and get peaceful sleep and know that you did right by the people that you care for, the people that care for you, your company, whatever, then, you've done okay. But some people just don't have that restraint. And unfortunately, it costs a lot of people so much more than just an angry reputation. It cost him a 20-year career. And there's many celebrities out there who have fooled around and stuff, and look what it cost, Tiger Woods, and look what it cost, Papa John, and look what, we've all been guilty of some of it. But the more public you are, the higher the chance that you're going to get called on the carpet for it. So I just the takeaway is just think before you speak. Certainly think before you type and hit send. How many times you send a text message like, oh, erase. And you're like, oh, it feels so
That email.
Feels so much better, and you do sometimes just getting out there or calling your friend. I'm like, okay, just put the phone down and let me scream. Sometimes when you call your friend and you just get it off your chest and feel like someone hears you, sometimes that's enough. But to completely blast it, I just, I feel sorry for Ryan. I do. I feel sorry for anyone. I feel sorry for, Tiger Woods. I love me some Tiger Woods, and whether or not he fooled around 9,000 times, I don't care. I still like him. And, it doesn't make him, in my opinion,
his golf game was never the same.
Game was never the same.
If you guys like what you're hearing, if you have a show topic or an idea, let us know. Be sure to subscribe, comment to Sugar, Spice, and Spirits, wherever you get your podcast. Again, thank you to Bing Pizzeria and Draft Brew House here in Alvin, Texas.
Awesome.
We certainly appreciate you. We thank you. And any final thoughts?
If you have a show topic or you have a drink that you would like us to showcase, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And cheers to you.
Yeah, certainly if you have any
Cheers.
comments on today's podcast, about your opinions, we'd love to hear that too.
Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
Sugar, Spice, and Spirits is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are solely those of the host and guests and do not represent those of any affiliated organizations. The content provided is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, whether legal, financial, medical, or otherwise. Always seek the advice of qualified professionals regarding any questions that you may have. While we aim to keep information accurate and up to date, we make no guarantees of completeness, reliability, or accuracy. Any action you take based on the information presented is strictly at your own risk. Cheers to mixing a little fun and some friendly advice. But remember, sip responsibly and always do your own homework.